So what's going on YouTube? Cal from Nowhere Drive 229 here, and I kind of want to talk to y'all about a topic that people have been asking me about. It actually came up last night at work. People see the M3 and they ask, who drives the M3, and the first thing they ask is, do you plan on getting a new M4? Have you seen the new M4? And usually they make one of two assumptions. Usually it's something along the lines of, new M4 is an M4 in contrast to an M3, so it's a better car. So I'm sure that's the one you want. Or they say something like, well, I know that the E92 M3 is supposed to be a really great car. Do you feel like the F82 M3 is an upgrade for you? And my answer is always generally the same. Do I plan on upgrading my E92 M3 to an F82 M4? Probably not, and here's why. The F82 M4 is undeniably a better car. Like, performance-wise, in the numbers, statistically speaking, straight line and track, it is a better car. The interior is nicer. I think exterior-wise, it looks nicer. It doesn't have as much of a classic look as this car because it's not as old. But yeah, I think it looks nicer. It looks more modern. It looks more advanced. I think it's a really good car. All that being said, to get one I want is, with the competition package, is about 70 grand or so. And to me, that just doesn't make sense because when I look at my car as like a weekend warrior, I don't really care about how fast it is. I don't care who's faster than me. I don't care if I'm faster than you. I don't care who's faster than me on the track. Only thing I really care about as far as times go is how much faster my times are getting on the track, because that tells me how much better of a driver I'm becoming. So I don't really care about, the fact that the F82 M4 is better statistically speaking. What it comes down for me is which one puts a bigger smile on my face, essentially. And the E92 M3 does a very, very good job of that. Now, mind you, my car does have some modifications. My car has the exhaust, as you can see in the exhaust video. My car has intake, tune, other little minor stuff, DCT tune, all that type of stuff. So it's not stock. It's kind of not an apples to apples comparison. But, even with those mods done to an F82 M4, my logic still stands. And like I said, the reason that I don't think the F82 M4 for me is a wise buy is just because I don't see it as a better fun car than my E92 M3. I think it's a better performance car, but I think it is a better fun car. The sound of the E92 M3, just, if you've ever driven one, you really have to drive one or even own one to really understand why we rave about them so much. I mean, people see the reviews on E92 M3s all the time, and you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, these guys are ridiculous. They just love their car. This guy is literally getting down on this motorcycle in front of me right now. But yeah, people probably see this stuff and they think, these guys are ridiculous. They just butt kissers of the M3. And, it's possible that you're right. But the fact of the matter is, the car wouldn't get so many rave reviews if it wasn't at least somewhat good. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about the F82 M4 is that it gets reviews as being a good performance car statistically speaking, but it's always an argument as to whether it's really a pleasure to drive. And I kind of feel like with the E92, this guy is distracting the heck out of me on this motorcycle, but it's the E92 M3 is never really argued that it's fun to drive. You're gonna enjoy driving E92 M3 when you own one. And that's kind of how I feel about it. If I'm gonna get a car that I'm gonna use solely for driving on the weekends and solely for just getting in and letting life melt away, just not really worrying about what is going on around me, just literally getting in my car for the pure enjoyment of driving, F82 M4 it didn't do it for me. I will say there are some points where the F82 M4 did shine a little bit more for me though. As you probably know, with the E92 M3, it's naturally aspirated, and the way it's geared and everything, and low torque. It's not the peppiest down low. You really have to wind it out to get the power out of it. And some people like that, some people don't. The AMG guys tend to use that as the Achilles heel of the E92 M3. But the F82 M4 has gobs of torque, tons of torque. You're never lacking for torque in that car. So when it comes to getting around town, it is a little bit better. Honestly, when I was looking into consolidating my interest into a car that was performance oriented and more daily drivable, the F80 M3 was at the top of my list because of the reasons that it's not on the top of my list as a performance car. Because it's very comfortable, the seats are comfortable, the ride is comfortable, except when you're not in Sport Plus. In Sport Plus it's a little rough. But the ride is comfortable, the seats are comfortable, it's not as loud. It feels almost detached from the road in a sense. Now that's cool around town because I do feel like these cars in America, we're kind of, or just people in general, are really kind of demanding everything from our cars. Like, we demand our car to be able to go to the track and pick up the kids from school. We demand our car to be able to run an 11-second quarter mile and still get us to work comfortably with good gas mileage. Like, we kind of demand everything from our cars nowadays, which, you know, it is what it is. It's kind of the way the market is going. The F80 M3, F82 M4 is really good at that. As far as targeting what the most of the audience wants nowadays, I will say I'll give it that. It does a good job of that. But for us guys who are really like car enthusiasts, we don't care about gas mileage. We don't care about how comfortable the ride is. We care about getting in the car and just truly enjoying the drive. It's really, really hard to beat the E92 M3, especially in comparison to the F82 M4. The F80 M3, I mean, the E92 M3 is just such a special car. It really is. Like, the way it sounds, that 4-liter V8 revs out to 8,300, 8,400 RPM. It just sounds ridiculous doing it, especially with an exhaust. I've just learned to really I've really fallen in love with this car, guys. Like, it's something that you would have to give me something that literally blows my mind to get me out of it. And I just don't say the F82 M4 doing that for me. It's a car that, like I said, it's good. Statistically speaking, it's great. Even for the prices you can get the regular ones for, like if you take out the competition package and the options that I may be looking at, you can find those things in the 50s now. So, I mean, essentially, it's not that much far off from what you would have paid for an E92 M3 maybe a year or so ago. So, it's not a bad bargain by any means. I just kind of feel like, for me, if I'm gonna get an F82 M4 and spend 70 grand to get a competition package and all that stuff, I could just as easily go to the Porsche lot and get a 911 for, you know, a 911 Carrera S used for 70 grand, or maybe, you know, maybe 80 grand or so. And that's a whole lot more fun. That's the only car I've driven that is arguably more fun than my E92 M3 is. So, to kind of wrap up this whole ramble that I've been on, am I planning on getting rid of my E92 M3 for an F82 M4? Probably not. The option still does stand to consolidate my interest to an F80 M3. I'm gonna let y'all hear this real quick. I have no idea if that was caught on video, but that just made me smile, so I don't care. As far as the cars go, as far as consolidating my interest to maybe an F80 M3, that is still on the table. However, I've kind of been leaning more towards the new W205 C63 on that front, just because it still has a V8, so I don't have to give up all of my V8 grumble for the turbos, and I can still do the tuning and stuff, and still have a very enjoyable car with some luxury. And honestly, I've just been thinking about jumping ship to AMG anyway, partially because BMW service sucks. I will get to that on a separate video. And because I want something different. I'm kind of itching for change, and I've always liked AMGs anyway, so we'll see. But more than likely what will happen is I'll end up getting another daily car. Like I said in the previous video, I gave my Camry to my cousin, so now I don't have a daily car. I'm having to daily my M3, and it's a little exhausting sometimes, not gonna lie. So I'll end up probably just getting another daily car. I've been looking at like the Infiniti Q50, maybe a C300, Lexus IS, Lexus GS, and Tahoes. I've been looking at all those. I know that's kind of a wide range of cars, but those are some cars that I like, some cars I've always kind of liked growing up. So I'm looking at getting one of those and then maybe just upgrading my M3 at some point. That being said, I've literally driven cars that are supposed to be better to try to convince myself to get out of the M3, and I never can seem to find the right mixture of what I want. Like, the M3 really is a car that will spoil you, and you will be like, nothing else is good enough for me. So we'll see. In the meantime, y'all keep watching the channel. Y'all keep watching, keep liking, keep subscribing. We enjoy y'all's comments. We enjoy y'all's feedback. All the guys who've been so positive about everything, we really appreciate that. It's motivation for us to keep going, keep doing stuff, keep bettering ourselves. So keep all that coming, guys. In the meantime, this has been Cal from Nowhere Drive 229. I'll see you next time.
It's